specifically talk about the sex conversation because, this is the mail room. Brad and I are obviously men. We have female co-hosts and guest experts, and part of the reasons we want to learn and we also want to teach other people what's out there. So talk to us maybe more from a female perspective about sex drive and sex appeal and the things that turn you on as a cougar. I mean, I think there's a cliche or a misunderstanding out there that as a woman gets older, she is going to be less sexual.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, you know how you always heard, when a woman's over 40, she loses her interest in sex. And you know why she would lose her interest in sex? Because generally she was married to an older guy for 20 years and she was bored.
Ooh,
that's why she was losing interest in sex. There's no reason why you need to lose interest in sex as you get older. I refuse to believe that. I haven't seen that.
That hasn't been your experience?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because now I'm more confident. I know what I want. I mean, I don't know how far we can go with this.
You can go as far
But
as
I remember in my, I won't go that far. But in my 20s, I didn't have a lot of experience. And so I would just lay there, like a lot of women do.
Yeah.
And then once I was having sex with this guy, and he's like, "You can't just lay there. You got to move around."
Yeah.
And so then I started to, kick it up a notch or two, and we had many conversations, and I took notes, and
it kind of sparked a new.
Exactly, and then I explored different avenues, and so I'm way better now than I was in my 20s.
Wow.
See, I think this is a huge conversation because there are all these misunderstandings about not only sexually, but all the things that are supposed to happen to us when we're older. But when I meet someone like you or some of the other women who are going to be on the show today, there's an energy level that we can create and sustain as long as we want it to be there. But if we listen to people tell us that you're going to get older, slower, and less sexual, and then we believe those things, then we will. It'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy unless we choose something different. And I think it's just very interesting to hear from someone like you who's like, that's a great example. You used to lay there in your 20s. I think a lot of people don't know how to have sex at the beginning, but
absolutely.
Later on, you figure it out. You know how much fun it can be. You get self-expressed. That's important.
Here's a random question. What's the best, and you don't have to be graphic, but what's the best sex you've ever had? Like what age guy and why?
That's going to take some thought here.
Yeah?
It was probably the most recent one, actually.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That means you were closest to the age you are now.
Yeah. It was just last year, and he was in his. I'm not sure how old he was.
Guess.
Mid-20s.
Mid to
late 20s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what was it that made it? So what was it that made it so great? Was it the connection? Was it the physical body? What was it?
A compatibility factor. There was just a compatibility.
Yeah.
For some reason, you never know who you're going to be compatible with.
Right. On all the different levels.
Mainly sex.
Yeah.
Mainly the sex level. That's why it ended.
Yeah.
But then also, because I also set the scene, I would always have candles and a fan and music.
Yeah.
So you made an event out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
A lot of the times, yeah.
Well, I mean, we talk about this.
We need an event.
Well, yeah, romance is something you create. People think that we're entitled to romance, but romance is just like anything else. We build it, we create it, and you've even talked about that too. We've had several male guests who have that. The best sex generally comes with the times when it's like you clear your schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have a session.
Absolutely, a session. That's right.
And it was also one of those things where he would walk in the door and we'd start making out right at the door.
So you guys were actually really you guys were physically matched well together.
Very well.
Yeah, okay.
So there's always an opportunity in the mailroom for you to ask us any questions that have come up for you. It can be related to this subject or not. Now is your chance. Is there anything that's coming up for you?
So are you guys open to dating cougars?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm really open to dating someone who I'm just attracted to, and that could be, it doesn't matter what age she happens to be. She could be younger, she could be older. If I find a woman who's, I'm more about just a straight up general attraction and connection. Like if I find a woman who I'm absolutely think is just sexy and also digs me, then I'm in.
Would you marry a cougar?
That's another good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I would take into consideration. I mean, it would have to be like all the things I've said. It's like I'm weighing all those options, and if I was absolutely crazy in love with her, yeah, I would. I'd have no problem with that. But it definitely would be, if she was significantly, she's 10 to 12 years older than me. I mean, I would definitely look at that first to see if I really cared on her on that level, and if I did, then yeah, I'd go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm in a partnership now with someone who is pretty much my same age. So, it's not super relevant, but I will say this. The more I learn about myself and the more I'm in conversations with someone like you that open up my awareness, which is like my theme in life is just to broaden my awareness, the more I become open to those things. And honestly, when I was listening to your story, what was coming up for me is how much I've picked my partners in the past, not based on their compatibility with me, but based on how I thought others were going to judge me for being with that person.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that goes on a lot, and that is a lot of times why I think men trade in for the younger model, is because they're less concerned about partnership and they're more being selfish about, are people going to like me when I show up with this supermodel? And when you started talking about knowing yourself and being more sexually evolved, those things turn me on. So I
absolutely.
if I'm ever in a part of my time in my life when I'm single again, I will be open to any age.
Yeah, you know who I think is hot as an example. Who I would love to go out with is Sandra Bullock. I think she's freaking
That
gorgeous.
shocks me.
Yeah.
You and her are nothing alike.
You never know. I just think there's something about her I think is incredibly hot.
I figured it would be like if Brangelina ever got divorced.
No, I'm not into. No, but she's younger though. She's much younger.
I wasn't talking about her age. I was talking about her style.
Oh yeah, no. There's something about Sandra Bullock I really am attracted to, and I think she's gorgeous and sexy. Like she just keeps getting better looking to me, and just more attractive to me. Like I would take her out in a heartbeat.
Very interesting.
Well, maybe she'll see this.
Yeah.
So Lucia, you've written this
she'd love
excellent book called Lucia's Lessons of Love. What will people find in this book?
Well, these are the most asked questions that people generally have about dating and relationships. So it's like a love manual, I call it.
Cool.
And
That's
if
cool.
you want, it's just a reference book. You just flip through it. You don't have to read it in one reading, such as what is love, or what does it mean when a woman says, don't ever call me again, et cetera, et cetera.
Is this something that would be better for a man or woman?
Actually,
or both?
both. I made it for both. It talks about both love, dating, relationships, and marriage.
Excellent.
A little bit of everything.
And for people out there who see you here on the mailroom and want to learn more about you, will you tell them where to find more about you?
Yes, please go to my website, theartoflove.net, and I also have a free weekly newsletter that you can sign up for and find out what's going on with me, and I answer your questions on the newsletter.